Hello my little WP Dominators and welcome. Today we are going to be discussing some tools that you should have in your toolbox in order to develop for WordPress. It doesn't matter whether you're developing a theme or a plugin, these tools will be essential. First up on my list of tools is a web browser. Now I highly recommend trying out a number of different web browsers as you are developing with WordPress, because as you develop, some things may look different on different browsers. There are three major ones that I tend to use. I end up gravitating towards one more than another, and then sometimes switching it around a little bit based on different tools that come out with different browsers. First up on my list of browsers is Google Chrome. The reason why I started developing with Google Chrome is because it quickly became a web standard. It comes with the ability to add your own extensions as well, and there are some great third-party extensions that help with development. One of the main features of Google Chrome that I like, though, is their suite of developer tools. Under the View menu, if you go to Developer and Developer Tools, it brings up this nifty little console right in the browser window that allows you to hone in on different elements of your website, and it gives you a lot of great information that allows you to find different elements in your CSS, find out where you have errors, and things where you can make speed improvements and things of that nature. Another browser recommendation is Firefox. It's not really one that I use a whole lot. That's just personal reasons, but they also have a nice suite of developer tools. And one that's impressed me lately is actually Safari, that comes with every Apple computer. Safari just snuck out a bunch of developer tools. They kind of hid the menu, so you got to kind of look around and enable the developer menu. But it is a great set of tools that's pretty comparable, and if not better than what Google Chrome puts out there. So I've actually found myself doing a lot of development with Safari lately. Next up on the list is a text editor. Now, over the years, I've tried a number of different text editors, and I've run into problems with some. But one that's tend to stuck around is Sublime Text. Sublime Text has an awesome navigation pane on the left. Literally, you can drag your project folder, whether it's your theme, plugin, entire WordPress installation. You just drag that folder right over to Sublime Text, and it's going to open up your project in a pretty easy to navigate way over here on the left. And then on the right, you can have multiple tabs and have multiple files open, working in multiple files at once. Then off to the right here, they have a nifty little zoomed out view, so you can see how long each of your files actually is. Next on the list of tools is a development server. As WordPress developers, we need to be developing locally on our own computers. That way we are not screwing up production sites and making headaches for other people, namely ourselves, as we're trying to build our own websites. Again, just like all my other tools, I tend to try a number of different things and see if any one tool kind of wins out over the span of time. But my favorite so far is MAMP Pro. One of the reasons why I've stuck with MAMP Pro is because it just works. It's got a great graphical user interface, and it just works every time I use it. A number of other tools require a little bit of in-depth knowledge. There's a little bit of a learning curve to use, even though they may be quicker, more reliable, better when it comes to migrating to production and that sort of thing. But MAMP Pro is just super easy to use, and it's one I highly recommend, especially if you're just getting started. The next tool up on my list is the WordPress Codex. How can we develop for WordPress if we don't know some of the standards and some of the recommended best practices for developing with WordPress? Not only that, but it's a great resource to refer back to. I can't tell you how many times I've wanted to add something into a theme or a plugin, and I've had to Google around to end up landing on the WordPress Codex to figure out what function I need or what arguments I need for a function in order to output what I'm looking to output on the screen. So WordPress Codex is something that you should always have open when you're developing with WordPress. Next is a suite of recommended plugins that help with developing. Namely one plugin in particular, the developer plugin, which was created by Automatic themselves, the folks behind WordPress, as well as a number of other talented developers. Now what the developer plugin does, right out of the box, as you upload it into your WordPress installation and enable the plugin, is it recommends a number of other plugins that help with development. And with one click, it allows you to simply download all of those plugins and enable them and help with development. So things like, let's say you're building a theme. Right when you open the developer plugin, it asks what you're trying to build. You can select WordPress theme for your own install of WordPress, and it'll enable a number of tools for you, like a debug bar to tell you how long different things are taking. It'll let you know if you have something missing from your theme, if there's a key file or a key function that you need in your theme. It'll help you out with that as well. So it's absolutely critical that you have this if you're developing themes or plugins. Lastly, and this one is kind of optional, but I like to work with a front-end framework. I found that it saves a ton of time because a lot of front-end frameworks come with everything you could possibly need to create a website or app or widget or whatever it is you're trying to create. And what a front-end framework is a set of styles and JavaScript sheets and HTML templates that speeds up the development time because a lot of the things that get reused over and over and over, like buttons or grids or nav menus and things of that nature, are already built into some of these front-end frameworks. And here we're looking at Foundation 5, which is my favorite front-end framework. I've tried both Foundation 5 and Twitter Bootstrap. I know Twitter Bootstrap probably has a little more of a following, and I'll probably get burned at the stake for pitching Foundation 5 so hard. But the thing with Foundation 5, I found it much easier to work with over the years. They use Sass, which is something I like to develop in, and it's just really quick for me to get Foundation 5 up and running and integrated with WordPress and the way WordPress does things. So those are all of my recommendations. You're going to need one of every tool that I listed here, but the actual tool that you use really depends on your personal preference. So I recommend trying out a number of different things. Try your own browser, mess around with a couple different text editors, see how many dev servers are out there, and find one that you like, or just stick with MAMP. Really the best thing is to just get started, get a product up and running, get coding, and mess some stuff up. As long as it's on your computer, if you mess stuff up, you're going to learn from it. The WordPress Codex, there's really no other alternative to that. There are lots of great blog posts out there of people that have messed around with WordPress and figured things out. You'll learn a number of things from them, but I highly recommend coming back to the Codex very often. And the recommended plugins, there's probably some other plugins out there. I found that Developer is the best, and it kind of points you in the right direction, gets you up and running really quickly. And frameworks, I have introduced you to Foundation 5 and Bootstrap. There's a ton of frameworks out there. Again, I recommend that you try a couple, see which one works for you, and just start coding. All right, thanks for hanging out with me. I will talk to you all again.